Case File, Forest 12. The night 2 children were found. In November of 2006, 2 children disappeared in a small rural town. They left home that morning, but by evening, they never returned. In the case file, they are referred to as Hans and Gretel. Their real names were never released to the public. The reason was simple. The case was closed, but no one in that town ever believed it truly was. This is not a fairy tale. This is a missing children case, and some parts of it were never fully explained. The disappearance. The sun had set early that day. The family lived on the edge of town. Hans was 10 years old. Gretel was 8. The missing person report was filed at 7:40 p.m. According to police records, the children never returned from school. They had no phones. The last sighting came from a road intersection near the town entrance. That intersection led to an old path into the forest. Every child in town knew that path, and everyone in town said the same thing. You don't go in there. The first search. The search began that night. Volunteers, police officers, residents of the town. Flashlights cut through the darkness between the trees, but the forest gave nothing back. For the first 24 hours, there was no trace, no footprints, no dropped items, no voices. It was as if the 2 children had simply disappeared. No town sleeps well when children go missing, because when that happens, a town loses a piece of its own childhood. Day 3, the first clue. On the 3rd day, something was found. An old hunter noticed it first. Small white pieces scattered along the ground. At first, police ignored it, but then they realized what they were looking at. They were breadcrumbs. The strange thing was, it had rained the night before. Wind had passed through the forest. Those crumbs should not have been there anymore, unless someone had placed them recently. The search team followed the trail, and the crumbs led deeper into the woods. The house. On the 5th night at 2:13 a.m., a radio transmission was recorded. We see a light deep in the trees. There was a house, but according to the town maps, no house was supposed to be there. No electricity lines. No registered property. Nothing. Yet a light was glowing from inside. The team approached carefully. The house looked old, but strangely, it looked clean. Too clean for a place in the middle of the forest, as if someone lived there every day. The door wasn't locked. They went inside. When they were found, Hans and Gretel were inside. They were not sleeping. They were not starving, and they did not appear frightened. They were simply quiet. Both children were sitting at a kitchen table. There were plates in front of them. On the plates, sweet dough pieces, colorful candies, and warm tea. The police report becomes unusual at this point. because according to the medical notes, the children showed no signs of hypothermia. 5 days in the forest, and they had not frozen. Something about the situation did not make sense. The woman, during questioning, Gretel spoke first. Her voice was calm, flat. She said only this: there was a woman. The house smelled sweet. Hans spoke later. His words were stranger. She said she found us. She knew we were hungry, but she never asked who we were. Police asked the obvious question: where is the woman now? Gretel replied, it was her house, but she wasn't really in it. That sentence remained underlined in the case file. Not really in it. The details inside the house. Investigators searched the building. They found one single woman's shoe, an old oven, but no ash inside. Children's drawings on the walls with no dates, newspaper clippings from 2001, all about missing children. And then there was a jar in the kitchen. The label on the jar said, bread, but the jar was empty, as if someone had taken breadcrumbs from it and scattered them through the forest. The strangest part, no adult footprints were found around the house. Only the children's. No tire marks, no fingerprints on the door. It was as if the house didn't belong there at all, as if it had appeared only for that night. The following morning, investigators returned, but they couldn't find the house again. The same location, only trees, bushes, empty ground. The official report called it disorientation in dense forest. But the search team had GPS. They had maps. They had the radio recording. They had seen the light. They had entered the house. And yet, the house was gone. Psychological notes. The children returned home, but they were not the same. A school counselor later wrote, Hans hides bread at night. Gretel reacts strongly to the smell of sugar. Both children report hearing the woman's voice. During a family interview, the mother said something unusual. I should have felt relief when they came back, but their eyes weren't relieved. Case closure. The official conclusion stated, the children may have taken shelter in an abandoned hunting cabin. Trauma may have altered their memory of events. Because the hunting cabins were known, they were on maps. This house wasn't. And there was one final detail. The morning after the search team failed to find the house again, something appeared